Good morning. Welcome to Upskill Monday. My name is Lorrie. My channel is We Are Quilters. We have been working on the Pop Zing Bling embellishment series for ever. And today we are going to review blanket/buttonhole stitch, because December, that is the stitch we will be using for the entire month. Then come first of the year, we are going to switch the playlist to something kind of new, but not really. You'll see when we get there. So let's look at some blocks we've made in the past. And like I said, this is really blanket stitch, not buttonhole stitch. It's the same stitch, just not as close together. So people call this buttonhole stitch also. But technically, because it has this open space, it is blanket stitch. I'm going to call it buttonhole stitch. So here's some that we've done in the past, and this has a little bit of a slant to it. Here's one that we did with pearl cotton, which was a little more difficult to do actually. And here's one that we did that was super fancy. It is variegated, it has a varied stitch, and then it has flowers and beads and leaves at the top. I made several of these because I really like the way that looked. There's another one. So we have done a lot of this before, but it has been quite a while since we have done these ones. And there's another one with that varied stitch and the flowers. And then this one, it's not blanket stitch, it is feather stitch. But, and you know, this is my favorite stitch, and buttonhole is a close second. And there's a reason. It's actually the same stitch, but this has an angle to it. Instead of being straight, it's at an angle. It's the same stitch. I will show you. Today, all we are going to do is quickly review plain old blanket/buttonhole stitch. Let me show you the blocks that we will be working on this week. I still have some from last week to show you. They are done and waiting in the wings. I'm going to work on, I think I will add like a white here maybe. I think that's what I will do. Some of that varied stitch. Let me grab my box of colors here while I show these blocks that I'm planning on working on to you. So I need a white, because I'm going to put a white stitch around that. I love to pick the colors, showing you that beautiful colored box. There's a lot of browns in this box. These were pre-wound ones. I think I would like a black or a dark blue or a something bold, but around that center. I have a dark gray. I do have a dark gray. You see how that would look. Black would be so stark, but then again, it might take a black. Let's see, I've got the dark gray, got the black. You know, because this has black on, I think that'll take the black. And then I have this one. I have this one, and it needs something to frame it out. And I have yellow here. Maybe a darker, bolder gold. Let's see what that looks like. No, that makes that look pale and sickly by comparison. Let's see. What else do we have that might... Oh, a nice green. I think we will outline that with some nice green. I might change my mind on this one. I don't know yet. But right now, green seems to be what I want to do. And this one has black and white and gray, and it has gray and black. I think this, oh, maybe that's where this lovely silver could come in and go around there. I think that is what I will do with those blocks. So let me set my box aside. Which one do I want to do? I think I will work on this one with you today. And I'm planning on going around the center. As normal, I will be using 3 strands of floss with my little needle minder. And I need a needle with a fairly large eye. This stitch is fairly simple. You put your needle up through where you want it to begin, and then you go out. This is point back in at B and out again at the original line. And then you just keep going. And that is all there is to the stitch. Now, if you were doing a feather stitch, you would do this at a sharp angle. And this stitch goes very quickly. Very quickly. And you can make it bigger or smaller or varied. It is a very versatile stitch. This was one of the first stitches that I ever learned to embroider. It is a great, I'm going to call it a primitive stitch. And you don't want to pull it too tight or too loose, especially if you're not using a hoop. Oh, that one has a larger gap. When I get to the corners, I might take smaller or more angled bites so that I can turn the corner and not have it be awkward or weird. Then it turns the corner. Let me put this on speed sew and finish this rest of the patch. And so that is all I am doing today, is review, and I might make some that are varied out of those blocks. I don't know. But let me get to some speed sewing for you. I am getting down to the end of my thread. So to tie off, I make my last stitch. I go down in the corner and it completes the stitch. Let me go behind some threads here and tie this off. You know, when you tie it off on itself, make your knot. And then let me flip this back over so you're not looking at the back of, even though there's nothing wrong with the back of that. And if you haven't noticed, I did some super scrap piecing to make that center. This was done on the Acu quilt for the crazy quilt. So the way I do that is I cut, I think it's 10 pieces of different fabrics, and then I stack likes together and then rotate each pile so that there are different fabrics. And I like to do them in color families. Okay, now that I have my thread ready, I come back up in that corner where I went down, and it's a little difficult to see because that black print of that flower is helping me hide it even more. But you can't see it if you come up in that same exact corner, and then you're just continuing, and nobody will see it whether there's black print there or not. And then you just continue on. Oh, I keep getting caught on that corner. I'm going to go down through at the very corner, and then I'm going to put a straight stitch for this one. So it looks like it is a continuous stitch. And there it is, all done. Remember, it's just easy, up through one spot, and then B and C being in the same row. One of the easiest stitches we have done. And I will see you back on Friday with those other samples, plus the ones from last week. I hope that you have a great week in store, and I hope you have enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Make my day. See you later. Don't forget, another chapter of Study in Scarlet opens up today. And remember, more Study in Scarlet blocks drop too.